It's easy to get stuck reaching for the same familiar fruits and vegetables, even when you know a colorful variety is key. Balance of Nature's fruits and veggie supplements don't replace fruits and vegetables, but it makes it easy to add more variety to what you already eat. With 31 ingredients that are whole fruits and vegetables, switching it up is easy because we've already taken care of the hard part. Go to balanceofnature.com and get a free fiber and spice supplement, plus 35% off your first set as a new preferred customer by using discount code POD.
What's going on? I'm Arch Manning, Viore athlete and college quarterback. Whether I'm running, training, traveling, or just unwinding at home, I love doing it in my core shorts from Viore. With a breathable boxer brief liner, they're quick to dry, super versatile, and stand up to even my most intense training sessions. Plus, they come in 3 inseams and a ton of colors. Ready to try a pair? Go to viore.com/arch and get 20% off at checkout. I think you're going to love them as much as I do. That's viore.com/ARCH and get 20% off your first order. Exclusions apply. Visit the website for full terms and conditions. Not only will you receive 20% off your first purchase, but enjoy free shipping on any U.S. orders over $75 and free returns. Have a great day.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
And joining us now to talk about all of this is one of the greatest businessmen that we know. He is the owner and operator of Red Apple Media, which of course syndicates the Rita Cosby Show. He also hosts another awesome show, Cats and Cosby, on WABC. I'm the lucky one getting to be with him every day, 5 to 6 p.m. on WABC Radio. The great John Catsimatidis. John, boy, oh boy, you and I were together a few hours ago. And boy, it's nice to see at least a few Democrats voted, but overwhelmingly the Democrats were still pushing to keep the government shut down. And thank goodness the Republicans were able to break the logjam and President Trump, now America can start again, right?
Absolutely correct. I am happy that common sense has prevailed. And I just don't understand how they wanted all Americans to suffer. And for what? I don't think any American that's been suffering the last 44 days, 45 days, whatever.
43 long ones, John.
Days.
It felt like, by the way, it felt like 43 years.
What did they accomplish? Well, what they just settled for is like President Trump has just said, is the exact same bill that they were voted on 43 days ago, and it's just made a lot of people suffer. The tons of losses at the airline industry because of how it was handled is horrible, and it's just mind-boggling that we got down to this situation. Rita, I mean, I am glad that finally some common sense Democrats voted to get it over with, voted to stop the suffering in our cities in America. I am glad the air traffic controllers are going back to work. And I think President Trump has to find a way to reward all the people that went to work and suffered to keep America as open as possible versus some of the people that said, well, I'm not going to show up. I mean, I think he has to deal with that next. I remember, I'm older than you a few years, when Ronald Reagan,
right? When
it faced Ronald Reagan, and Ronald Reagan was so upset that he said to the air traffic controllers, the country has to move on. You just can't just not show up. And you know, Ronald Reagan was known as one of the greatest presidents in America of this last century. And I think President Trump is going to record that Americans, that he has the common sense and he has the leadership to get things done.
Yeah, no, great points, John. And John, you owned an airline. You're one of the greatest business people, I think, in the world. How long do you think it will take, first off, for the airlines to kind of get going again? Because remember, they had the shutdowns. They had so many cancellations. They had so many delays. They trimmed flights by 6% just because they didn't have the air traffic controllers. And to get everybody kind of back up and moving again, it'll probably take, I would assume, a few days, at least from the airline standpoint. And then I think your point, John, is so superb. You're right, because President Trump came out and he was pretty much putting the pedal down and saying, listen, you guys got to get back to work. And those that did come back to work, he even talked about maybe giving them a $10,000 bonus for those who never missed a day through that shutdown. Those folks are real heroes. I mean, some of the families, obviously, I'm sure they had hardships. We talked about people living in their cars. How you don't want an air traffic controller who hasn't had a good night's sleep manning the towers.
And the other thing I'm concerned about, Rita, and we've talked about it many times together at the 5 o'clock show, is the fact that we caused a lot of the problems that we have today by allowing our country to be invaded by people who we didn't even know who they were. Like we've always said, we believe in immigration. Americans believe immigration. They want people to come. But we were invaded by people that wanted to change our way of life. Take Venezuela. Venezuela opened up their jails, opened up their hospitals, opened up their mental institutions, and send these people to us. That's not fair to the average American family that their kids had to sit next to kids that came in and we didn't know what diseases they had. I remember Ellis Island. Ellis Island ran so efficiently. We controlled who the people that were sick. We did not allow them to come in contact with the rest of the American people. What's wrong with that? Rita, I'm scratching my head. What is wrong with that? Protecting the average American citizen.
And by the way, John, you always so eloquently say immigration, yes, invasion, no. And the reason we're also talking about it, and I'm so glad you're bringing this up, John Katz, is because you look at what the Democrats were pushing for. They wanted to keep this loophole, which would have allowed for illegals to get taxpayer-funded health care. That's what this was all about. And at the end of the day, they didn't get it. Thank goodness. Bravo to the Republicans who held the line. But this is sort of par for the course, right?
Well, the American people are the most generous people in the world. And we want to help as many people as we can. But I think the American people say, well, let's take care of the American people first, and then selectively take care of foreigners or other people. But you can't allow ourselves just to be invaded.
100%. And at the expense of Americans. I mean, we saw the price tag in New York, how much it was overwhelming all the hotels and all the different shelters and everything else. And yet this is what they were holding the line. You know, it's amazing, John, tonight, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the so-called far left progressives who seem to be now owning the Democratic Party, they are going crazy tonight. They're calling out Schumer. They're calling out anybody that they believe played a role in ending this shutdown. Where do you see that fight going? Because they want the funding for the illegals. They want the invasion, I think, for the votes.
Well, don't forget, I was a Democrat at one time. I helped with Bill Clinton's campaign. Doug Schoen was on a 5 o'clock show, and Doug Schoen is very much concerned about the invaders are trying to change our way of life. And the invaders are trying to take over the Democratic Party and take all the gray-haired people that worked hard for the Democratic Party for the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, and say, well, you're going to change. Things are going to change. We're going to take over the Democratic Party, and you're going to do things our way. So the invaders that invaded are changing the American way of life. And that's what's not, that's not supposed to happen like that. We're supposed to worry about the American citizens first.
Absolutely.
And then take care of everybody else. Not worry. Now, where does this Democratic Party say, well, we're going to take care of the invaders first and worry about the American citizens second? Don't forget, I'm chairman of the Police Athletic League. I worry about black and brown kids in our inner city. Okay? I can't worry about the kids in Africa, the kids in South America, the kids in Central America. We got to take care of the American people first, and I think that's our responsibility. And let's take care as much. Let's give food to people in Central America, and people in South America, people in Africa. We've always been very, very generous, but we don't want these people invading us, trying to change us.
Yeah, and it clearly seems like, in my opinion, a very manipulated system by the Democrats. I mean, you and I talked about this earlier, John Catsimatidis, that Mondani, 85%, had only been in America, for 5 years. What does that say to you? I mean, it says, he's the guy who, of course, is going to be the mayor-elect of New York. And yet this trend is happening around the country, John, and this is what they're pushing for. And what scares me as an American from what we're seeing tonight, I mean, yes, there were 6 House members who voted to reopen the government, but the rest of them were holding fast. And it looks like already the knives are out within the Democratic Party. And it seems like the far, far left that are supporting these illegals and as many come in as possible, unvetted, unchecked. That seems like the future of the Democratic Party. And that's not just bad for the Democratic Party. It's bad for America, right?
It's bad for the American citizen. The American citizen, it's bad for our veterans that worked hard to take care and keep America safe. And it's a different kind of war. This is a war being fought not by bullets. This is not a war. This is not a war being fought by bombs. We have been invaded. We have had drugs coming in from Mexico. We had drugs coming in from Venezuela. We had invasion of people, and they're trying to change our way of life. And it's not fair to our kids and our grandkids because we want our kids and grandkids to grow up in the America that we know and love.
Absolutely. And I know how much you love this country, John, and that's why I'm always so honored to be with you every day. Katz and Cosby, everybody, 5 to 6 on 77 WABC. And one of the greatest business people out there in this country, the owner and operator, along with the wonderful Margot Catsimatidis of Red Apple Media.
I was in several events last night. I went to a banking event where preliminary Israeli, a lot of Israeli, a lot of Jews, and you know what they said to me? John, are you leaving? I said, absolutely not. Remember the core words, and the core words were sent to us or given to us by President Trump that they tried to assassinate.
And we know the words, right, John? Let's say it together. Fight, fight, fight.
Fight. And I tell that to all New Yorkers. Let's not surrender the land and the city we love. Fight, fight, fight. And let's make sure we bring it back to the way we grew up and the way we're going to take care of the American people first.
Absolutely. So beautifully said from one of the greatest Americans by far out there, the great John Catsimatidis. John, I love you. Thank you for joining us tonight on this big breaking news. I can't think of anybody better to give this perspective because I know how much you love New York and how much you love this country.
Well,
thank you, John.
That patriotic song, spread the word to beware. Okay? let's not get invaded. Let's keep America, America.
Absolutely. Thank you, John. Love you. Have a great night. Thank you so much.
The Rita Cosby Show on the Red Apple Podcast Network. If you're looking to create, grow, and sustain your wealth, download and subscribe to the Pain Points of Wealth podcast at BeBullish.com with Bob, Ryan, and Chris Payne. It's your podcast for market insights, money tips, and real talk on the economy. Download and subscribe at BeBullish.com.